On November 10th, 2021, we did our third frozen embryo transfer. We transferred one beautiful little embryo and hoped that the third time would be the charm and we would finally get pregnant after everything we've been through with fertility treatments. I tested early, 5 days after the transfer, and I swore I could see a faint line, and then this happened.
So today is 6 days post-transfer.
Tuesday.
It's Tuesday.
We had our transfer last Wednesday.
And it's positive. So it's a faint positive. Not even that faint. It's hard for you probably to see it. We can't get it on camera.
There, they can see it.
So we're very nervous because the line has to get darker, obviously, and we're still a week out from our beta, which is the blood test that tells us if we're pregnant. Right now, it is in there. It is
right
growing.
now, technically.
We are pregnant.
Technically. What is it?
Yesterday we took a digital pregnancy test and it said no. And today we took
Today we
one,
thought the line was the same.
but it says it says yes. I can't believe it.
What?
It says yes.
We never saw that before.
What?
What does it say? Oh my god! It says yes! We're 7 days. 7 days
Post-transfer.
Post-5. And I wish I was more excited, but I don't believe it, to be honest. So I'm not excited. I don't know why. I can't believe this yet. So I'll believe it when the blood test is done.
When we finally got our positive, we were obsessive about testing. When we had our chemical loss earlier this year, the line stopped getting darker before fading away completely, and we were so scared that that would happen again.
Oh my god, there's so many tests.
This is a lot of tests. This is what it's actually like, though. We didn't see a line progression this morning from yesterday morning. So we were like, oh, it died. But, ta-da! Tonight, line progression. But that is a super good line, I think.
Tomorrow we're 4 weeks pregnant.
Tomorrow is 4 weeks. That's a pretty good line, I'd say.
We're going for a blood test.
Today is
Official test day. We are
Official
going
test day.
for the beta HCG where they test your blood and see if you're pregnant.
We're actually going on day 12.
And our clinic usually does it on day 14, but we're going to be going day 15, so we need time to get all of our supplies ready.
So we're going 2 days early.
Hopefully that's fine.
Hi, it's Karen calling from the Earth Clinic. How are you guys?
Hi Karen, we're good. How are you?
Good. That's good. I'm calling with some very good news.
Oh yay.
How you doing?
Yeah, we tested, but I'm like shaking. I've been so nervous.
We're like, is it a good number or are we?
Yeah.
But after hearing that everything was okay from the clinic, we let ourselves get a little excited.
That I bought you probably 7 months ago, maybe 8. Ready?
Mhm.
Okay. It's a pregnancy journal, so you can start it.
Really cute. Oh my god. Thank you, Lassie.
I didn't open it, so I don't know what it looks like.
Let's see.
Hell's down.
What's this?
This is so perfectly fitting. Maybe this was always meant to be. Okay, I got you a gift a while ago.
What is it?
I'm gonna cry. It's a special ornament.
And it's Christmas.
It's Christmas.
Oh my god. I love it.
For the special tree.
I got it a long time ago.
I've had it since the first transfer.
We went for an early ultrasound and everything looked great, so we decided to take our pregnancy announcement photos and start documenting it so that we could see a bump progression one day, and decided to tell our family and friends.
You little monkeys.
You ready to color down?
Yeah, I'm ready. I got you something for the next hockey season.
Positive? No way.
Say, Sam's pregnant. Say, Sam's pregnant.
And then we went for our 8-week ultrasound, thinking that we would see the baby and hear the heartbeat, and instead everything changed.
I don't think I'm ready.
You don't have to.
I know I don't have to.
Okay.
Okay, so we went for our 8-week ultrasound. I'm like
I know. Should we film it?
It's okay. It's fine.
You can
We'll
cry.
just keep going.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just keep going. Okay. So we went for our 8-week ultrasound, and there was no heartbeat.
It doesn't feel like real anymore. Like I'm telling the story as if it wasn't us.
There is no heartbeat, and it had stopped growing, which was just like shocking.
It was shocking. It was mostly just a shock. Like we were like
no idea anything
nothing.
was wrong.
We didn't say anything. We were just like,
actually, I started just bawling.
yeah, you did.
So the doctors left and gave us some time because it was our doctors doing the ultrasound, and then I don't really know what I was expecting when they came back. Were you expecting that?
No, I didn't know what to expect.
I didn't either.
I was just shocked. Really?
Yeah, and it's not like we'd gone through anything like this before, so they came back and they gave us like miscarriage options.
Yeah.
Which was like just not what I was expecting at all from the appointment.
No. And then they gave us papers and explained everything and then said, do you have questions? And then I
He
asked
sat with
questions.
us for a really long time.
Yeah, it was a long time.
And he gave us like a lot of information. I feel like a lot of people don't get much from their doctors when they find out they're going to have a miscarriage.
Yeah, he was really great. We did get all of our questions answered, which was good. But it was just like also you were still shocked, kind of.
I think we're still shocked.
It's weird.
It's so weird.
It's so
It
weird.
just feels like very surreal, and like I think I just can't believe that it happened. Like
I
it was
think
just
so.
such horrible luck, and that's what it was down to, was just like luck. There was probably something wrong with the embryo.
Yeah, he
Genetically.
said that's probably what it was. That's why it usually happens.
Yeah.
When it comes down to it, out of the 9 embryos, since we didn't genetically test them, maybe 4, maybe 3 could only be normal. And that's just like a risk you take when you don't genetically test. And looking back, what do we have? Yes. That point wasn't recommended to us because of all of the factors. So that's why. Like, they don't know why it happens. And there's nothing you can do. Like, nothing you did at all that made it happen.
So they gave us 3 options. So one was to just stop meds and go home and like see what would happen. 2 was to take a medication to make it happen, and then 3rd was a surgery, so a D&C. So we decided to just stop meds, or I guess I decided to just stop meds. And it took longer than they thought it would to start. And the really shitty part was it was the week before Christmas. It was the week before Christmas Eve that we found this out. So it was also like the middle of
That's
Vlogmas.
awful.
And I was
sucked.
just like, I'm gonna vlog still because I was like, what do I do? I think if I didn't have Vlogmas, I would have just like sat and cried.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
We waited. And then it was Christmas Day.
Is that not just like the worst luck?
At that point, I was like, this is almost comical. Like, you have to,
like a sick
like
joke.
a sick joke. It was like, Christmas? What? Oh my god,
Yeah.
it was awful. It was actually awful.
It was actually awful.
It was actually awful, and then it got worse over like 2 days.
So I don't know how graphic we should get, but so I started bleeding on Christmas Day, and it was only enough to like fill a pad, and there was like no tissue or anything. It was just blood, and it was like black blood, like old blood, and it was like that for 2 days. And then the 3rd day, I started bleeding a lot more, and it was fresh. And then I started passing tissue, but I was in no pain at all at this point.
I know, and I was like, oh, that's great. It's probably not going to hurt. Maybe
Yeah.
you'll be one of those lucky people.
Yeah. Especially, I think a lot of people get told that like a miscarriage is just like a period, but it was nothing like a period.
No,
At all.
if you have a period like that, you're sick. Something is wrong
You need
with
to
you.
see a doctor. Everything was feeling fine. I was bleeding quite a bit, but I felt fine, so we decided to take the dogs to the park.
Oh, yeah.
I don't regret it.
No, it was nice.
So we were walking the dogs at the park, and then I started getting, it was probably like 1 o'clock at that point, and I started feeling like a lot more pain. Car on the way home, I was in so much pain.
Oh, yeah.
And then as soon as I stood up to get out of the car, a lot of like stuff came out. And then from then until like probably 6 o'clock. It was really bad.
It was really bad.
I was in so much pain. I don't know if I've ever been in that
You were
much
throwing
pain.
up
I
from the pain.
was throwing up.
It was
I was
really
in so much
bad.
pain.
It was awful. And I feel like they didn't explain that it was going to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like that's something I never knew. Like, I've heard about miscarriage, but no one has ever said that happens, which is like, it's okay to say because you should know that happens, and it's really awful.
Yeah, so I was in so much pain and like nothing was helping the pain. So they told me that I could take like Tylenol and naproxen.
But
like,
that
I
didn't
believe.
help. Nothing helped.
Nothing helped. So I was on like the max dose of both that I could be, and I was in like so much pain, and I just like didn't know what to do. I was literally just like rolling
That was
around in
awful.
pain because I was trying to find like a position where I felt more comfortable, and I just couldn't. And then I started bleeding a lot, so I was soaking through like a nighttime maxi pad, like the biggest, thickest, like heaviest you can get, in like 20 minutes. Like 15 to 20 minutes. Like it was very fast.
It was so bad.
So one of the pieces of information that the doctor had given us was they gave us a contact number for a doctor on call at the hospital, a gynecologist, in case there was like a list of things, in case any of those things happened. And then I was like, I'm fine.
And I was like, this is not fine. You're literally throwing up. So
That was shocking for me because, one, that's never happened before, and two, if you guys know me, I have an intense fear of throwing up. That was probably the first time I've thrown up in years and years.
Yeah, it was.
But I have like such an intense fear of throwing up. And throughout the whole pregnancy, I had a lot of nausea, but I didn't throw up. And then to be miscarrying and throwing up was just like the absolute worst thing. And that's when Allie was like, okay, we have to go to the hospital, was when the doctor on call had told us that I needed to go to the emergency room. And then the healthcare system here is honestly just so crappy that I was there for an entire hour and it hadn't even been triaged yet, which was the slowest I've ever seen it at the hospital, right? And there was still so many people in front of us, and I was in so much pain, and the last thing I wanted was to be like sitting in this chair,
Yeah.
in like the check-in area. It was just horrible. I went against their advice and went home, which I probably shouldn't have done, but at that time the bleeding had like slowed down a lot. We went home and I took a hot bath, and that really helped. This was like at like 6 o'clock.
Yeah, it was like had been a few hours.
And it was getting to the end, so without being too graphic in what was coming out, there was like clots of tissue. This is graphic, that were the size of like limes.
Oh yeah, they were humongous.
It was like humongous.
We were
pieces of
shocked. We
tissue.
were like, how is there still more? How is this actually coming out? And also, how did all of that grow in that amount of weeks?
I was 9 weeks
We
at
were
that
like,
point.
what the heck? Yeah,
And it was so much. Like, I am still shocked.
it was really weird.
So I think that was the most painful part, was like any time that there was like a large piece of tissue that I had to pass. And then I feel a little better until it was happening again. So I was still bleeding a lot in the bath, which was kind of gross, but it felt better. Surprise. And then when I got out of the bath, I just like suddenly passed like another large piece of tissue, which ended up being the rest of everything,
Yeah.
which was pretty dramatic. Oh, this was just a horrible. You want to tell something?
Okay, so I'm less emotional, and it's not that I'm not sad. This part's funny. It's not funny, but you'll see. So it's like at the end you pass the sac. So it's a
I think it can happen at any point.
okay.
But
So
that was the last
she passed the
thing.
gestational sac, so that's where like it would house the baby. So we were like, oh, this is sad, obviously. And then
Because it looked a
we
lot
were like, what
different.
do we do? Do you flush it down the toilet? This is very graphic. So yes, obviously. What else?
Well,
would
it's
we
not
do?
obviously. Some
Some people
choose
keep it,
to
but
keep
we
it
were
or
like,
bury
we're just gonna make peace and go. Like, you know, at a funeral, you put something in the casket that's special. So, I put a Tostito.
With dip.
A Tostito with nacho dip. But that was my my gift, and I had closure with that Tostito. Anyway, it was actually very sad. I can make light of it now because that's who I am and that's how I cope, I think. But it was very sad. It's very sad.
She is sad, I swear. She just
I am sad. I just don't look sad.
Yeah, so it's been a few weeks.
It's been a few weeks.
And it's still
How are you
doesn't feel
feeling
real.
now in the body?
So I kept bleeding. After I passed the sac, the bleeding really, really slowed down. It had been like, honestly, like a faucet before that for those like 5 hours. It was shocking. It was the weirdest, grossest sensation, all of it.
It was really bizarre.
And the bleeding like really, really stopped. And then there was only one, like probably like 2 knee-sized clot after that. And then it just like tapered off. But I bled for weeks. Like I probably
Basically
say,
only a few days ago stopped, really.
yeah, and it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah. Wow.
Physically, I'm feeling better. Emotionally, it comes and goes.
Yeah.
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 Saw my therapist yesterday. That was good. So that's what happened. What a sick joke.
Yeah.
On Christmas Day.
I know. Also now you have to test and make sure your HCG goes down. So it was very light. So we just have to make sure that it's gone.
Yeah,
And then
so
that way we can move forward.
Test doesn't take pregnancy tests still, which is also a sick joke.
I know.
So you have to keep taking pregnancy tests. They said that I could do that instead of having to go in for a blood test. Oh my gosh. So it is obvious. It's really light now, the tests. So it's getting there. So next steps is going in for some blood work.
Yeah.
And that's just to rule out a few rarer things. But they said it's probably not. And then also just autoimmune things just in case.
Yeah. That's all you can do.
That's all we can do. It still doesn't feel, I don't think it's ever going to feel real. Like the whole thing is just like a bad dream. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what happened.
That's what happened.
And that's why we didn't finish Vlogmas.
Yeah, why Vlogmas just suddenly stopped.
Yeah.
That's why. I warned you that that could happen. It did. And also why we took some time off.
Yeah.
And then I felt like this was what I needed to share until they would come back.
Yeah. That's it. Now we have to just keep going.
Okay, I don't know how to end this, so bye.
Well, thanks for watching. Hopefully you've never gone through this. If you have, I'm very sorry because it's awful. And that's all I know what to say.